what was the question from Genevieve? How do we fully let go of deeper? This is a sort of a big question, but I'll answer it as best I can in a brief amount of time. How do we fully let go of the deep-rooted anger of a life full of trauma? Do you have any suggestions, brother? I've done so much clearing and facing the fear and anger, but still I react in anger at times. I don't like that, as I am a fairy and don't want to be angry. Thank you, brother. Blessings. Okay, so one of the biggest helps I can give you, Sister Genevieve, is to let go of your resistance towards anger. Anger is a very, very natural emotion. Anger is a very important survival tactic of us, both spiritually and biologically. Anger arises whenever we feel that our needs are not being met. Now, of course, that is a perception, our needs being met, and we can modify our perception over time as to whether our needs are really being met or not. But needless to say, right, because we do get angry over things that we perceive is not meeting our needs when really potentially it is meeting our needs in a bigger ways. But from an egoic perspective, right, we are pissed off that something hasn't gone the way that we wanted it to go, even though if we step back, we can see that this is actually facilitating the changes that are required for us to get the bigger outcome that we desired, right? So we do need to be mindful about what is making us angry. But in general, this deep-rooted anger of a life full of trauma is normal and is healthy. Right? It's not, quite unquote healthy that we've experienced so much trauma in our past, but it is what it is. We have. So if we have a life full of trauma, then we should be willing to accept that we're angry about that and not make it so wrong and not trying to fix the anger. Like the anger is the problem here. The anger isn't the problem, right? The anger is just the symptom. So it's no point getting angry that you have a wound that's pussy, right? The pus isn't the problem; it's the infection that's beneath the pus, right? And so to get rid of the pus, it's no point just wiping it off and being angry that or resistant towards the pus that's going. I know this is a gross example, but we need to be willing to clean the wound out to deal with the infection, and then pus isn't a symptom anymore. It's the same with anger, right? Don't make the anger wrong. Anger is basically, just like pus is basically your immune system trying to get the infection out, right? It's carrying it out of your body. Anger is the same. It's trying to carry this trauma out of your energetic fields. So first and foremost, accept that anger is not wrong. Don't resist anger. And I know why you don't like the way that anger makes you feel. A lot of that is a programmed response. Anger has been made, hey, Sister Julie, anger has been made very wrong by our authorities, whether it be religious authorities, our parental authorities, our societal authorities, our education system authorities. Authorities in general have made anger very, very wrong. And thus they inspire guilt in us whenever we get angry. So unfortunately, when anger arises within us, rather than being quite a wholesome experience of us expressing our discontent with we're not having our needs met in this situation, it gets tinged, gets tainted, it gets manipulated with all of this guilt that I'm not supposed to be angry right now, but I am. So there's this push-pull going on inside of ourselves where we feel angry, but we're not supposed to express anger, which makes us even more angry now because our need to express our anger is not being met. So we're angry that we're not allowed to be angry. This unfortunately snowballs into a very unhealthy relationship with anger, and where we get more angry with ourselves for being angry that another person is abusing us than we are with them for abusing us. This is unfortunately a difficult state to navigate. And so to start with, the more that we can relax out of the wrongness of anger and let go of this guilt that arises when we feel angry, the more we are going to be able to direct our anger in more empowered ways, not necessarily keep suppressing it until it breaks out in rage and we act in unconscious and potentially damaging ways. This is what happens, and this is what then they feed back. The people who have made anger very wrong have created a situation where many people suppress their anger till it bursts out of them in rage, and then people get rageful, and then they use that as an example. They go, "See, that's why anger's really bad, because look at that person in rage over there being so destructive." right? They created that problem, and then they use the outcome of what they created to therefore justify why they said that anger's wrong in the first place. The reason they said anger's wrong in the first place is that angry people create change. Angry people get up and revolt against the oppression that these authorities are placing over our society. So they make anger wrong so that we don't all sharpen our pitchforks and go and overthrow them. The fact is they are few and we are many. And when we get angry enough and unified in solidarity around the fact that the authorities are not meeting our needs right now, then we will overthrow them. That's what happens. So one of the ways that they try and prevent that from happening is making anger wrong, so that as soon as we start getting angry, that we're all getting abused, basically, by their authoritarian power, that we then feel guilty. Guilty people are easy to control. Guilty people feel ashamed of themselves and keep their heads down and don't say boo to no one, right? And they suppress their anger and take it out on their kids rather than take it out on the government, right? Unfortunately, that's what's happening in our society. Society's not giving people what they need to express themselves. They get angry and they take their anger out on the people who are closest to them, the people who they feel or think on a level, it's usually subconscious, won't reject them for being angry, like their kids and their partners, right? And this is why we have such a problem with domestic violence, et cetera, in our society, because people have been disempowered from engaging in their anger, their sacred rage, that they're not having their needs, their deep soulful needs given by our society. So, yeah, awesome, Audra. Audra said, I've changed the words I am angry to I am passionate. Yeah, and even just reframing it and saying I am feeling angry as opposed to saying I am angry is also a very empowering thing to do and a great thing to do with all emotions. But it's true, it's passion, right? This same vibration, are you feeling anxious or are you feeling excited? It's very difficult to tell sometimes. Are you feeling angry or are you passionate about the subject that you're talking about, right? It's these are fine lines, and it's very easy to get put in the angry bucket when we start speaking out against what is basically wrong in our society from our point of view, right? Everything is relative, of course. There's no true absolute wrongness. It is all, working for some way, but from our perspective, it's not meeting our needs. It's not beneficial to us, and thus we speak out against it, or we act out against it, we protest against it. People say, oh, look, those angry people, right, as if it's something wrong for them to be angry. Of course they're angry. They're not having their needs met, right? So we need to redefine as individuals and as a society our relationship with anger, because as long as we keep making anger wrong and keep feeling bad that we feel angry and not wanting to feel angry, wanting to have all of the problems taken away so we no longer have an opportunity to be angry, we're going to be living a very disempowered life, a very small life. So hopefully that helps.